stop doing all this playing because you're doing way too much playing. This is me talking to myself. Like, you gotta talk to yourself like this because if you don't, who else is gonna talk to you like that? What's up, beauties? Rana here, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time stopping by. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that way you can be a part of the beauty club. If you guys do not know already, if you've seen my other videos, then you already know I have my cosmetic line. It is called Rana Beauty Cosmetics. That is also the website, www.ranabeautycosmetics.com. I have lip glosses, lipsticks. I also have sugar lip scrubs, lip liners. I have 2 different types of chapsticks. So I have all of these nice goodies for you guys. So if you noticed, I am in a totally different setting and I am more dressed up than I normally am. Even though I love y'all, I did not do this for this video, but I actually just came back from a business conference. So I literally just walked in the house maybe 10 minutes ago, even though it is midnight. We hung out afterwards or whatever. So that's why I look the way I look. This is a long dress. This video is pretty much going to be me talking about my time here in Vegas so far. I've been here for almost a year. Recording this video, I probably have about a few more days or so till it actually hits 1 year. By the time you guys see this video, it will officially be the next day after the year. Who cares, really? I just figured, I was thinking, like, of course I know what I kind of want to say, but I'm thinking, you guys really, I don't know if I ever told you guys like my story. Some people asked, before I moved here, why Vegas? Why this? Why that? And I don't know if I ever mentioned that. I know I did my 6-month update to let you guys know like how it was going so far, whoop-de-whoop. But I was just curious to know if I actually told you guys. I really can't remember. I mean, I could have gone back, but if you are seeing this video before you saw that one, then boom, you gotta know. Starting from the beginning, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but just so you know why I am the way I am, why I operate the way I operate. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised. I did not live in any other city, any other state, other than when I went to college the 1 year in Bowling Green. I went to Bowling Green State University for 1 year when I graduated high school. And so that was in 2012. Went there for a year, left there, did not go back. I was there undecided. So it was like, whatever. I wanted to do business because I knew I wanted to own a salon. So I went there for that, but I just didn't. I ended up being undecided. So I just moved on and decided that wasn't for me. I hated school anyway. So yeah, moving forward, I graduated from high school 2012. Then I went to cosmetology school. I knew that I wanted to be a cosmetologist legally because I was already doing hair at home. I started off like doing my mom's hair, my sister's hair, family, friends, and so on. And so then, I figured, if I want to work in a salon, of course you have to be licensed. So I went and got my license. I went to Paul Mitchell. I went in 2012. I went in 2016, not 2012, 2016, and I did the night program, which was part-time. So we went, I believe it was Monday through Thursday, I want to say it was, from about 5:30 to 10:30. So that's what pushed the time for a year and a half. Moving forward, I graduated in May of 2018. And then we finally had the ceremony about June of 2018. Right after that, then it's kind of like, all right, now what? What do I do now? Do I just go hop in the salon? Do I still want to kind of do how I was doing it? Just like at the house, I was doing hair in my mom's dining room, okay? So I'm just kind of thinking, what do I want to do next? There's actually a very famous hairstylist. At least she's famous around the city. And I know she used to work in California as well. Her name is Michi. All of her tag names are Mad About Michi. So if you've ever seen her, heard of her, then she's bomb, hands down. It's so crazy, just me telling a story about her really quick, how I used to watch hair videos all the time on YouTube. And I remember always loving her work, right? Loving her work. She lived in Cali. And so, I mean, that had nothing to do with it. But, I'm just like, okay, I love her work. And then one day she said that she's from Cleveland. And I'm like, oh my God, this girl's living my dream. She's a hairstylist. She's from Cleveland and we're both from the same city. She's in Cali. Like, I wanted to move to the West Coast. So I'm like, oh my God, like, now I'm focused on this girl. Now I'm low-key like invested in her life. And so, I was just watching her stuff, and then I remember seeing her saying she was moving back to Cleveland. I was like, oh my God, like what? And then I also found out that she has a salon, she still does, in Cleveland. So I was like, oh my goodness. So while I was in hair school, coincidentally, I saw her there one day. I actually saw her car. I knew what kind of car she drove and everything. Not that I'm stalking this girl, I swear. But I saw her car in the parking lot, and I know she was one of the few in the city that had that car because it was so specific. And so, like, with the colors and everything, so I was like, oh my God, I know she is not in this school right now, but it makes sense if she's in this school. I go inside, and now I'm kind of like looking for her without trying to like look for her, and it was her. Of course, I didn't talk to her or anything like that at that moment. Coming to find out she was about to have a class at our school. I'm like, yes. So she was actually there. She was kind of like there like throughout the middle of the day. And again, because we were at night in the evening, she was already there by the time I got there. So I was able to like sneak in on the last part of the class. She was telling her story a little bit and all of that stuff. People was asking her questions about, owning a business, just all that type of stuff. Didn't really have a chance to talk to her then, but that inspired me to send her a message on Instagram. So I had DM'd her, and I was telling her like how I was inspired by her because this had been years since I knew about her. I was telling her I would love to work with her and stuff. And so she, wrote back right away. Super sweet lady. She wrote me back. And so she was like, come up to the salon one day and we can talk a little bit. So I went up to the salon and she was working. So we really didn't have a chance to like sit down and talk face to face and one-on-one. Well, we did talk face to face, but we weren't able to sit down, and so where it was private. So she was kind of like doing hair and stuff. So she was asking me, how many clients I had per week. And y'all, at this time, I didn't have that many clients, for one, just because I didn't have the time. I was working full-time and going to school part-time. I probably did one person a week, if that. You know what I'm saying? So that was, and two if I got lucky. So it was kind of like I didn't really have that much. To be honest with you, I didn't have the confidence to really like work there. I know that was a dream of mine, and I still think about that sometimes, but I did not follow up afterwards. So she was like, because I told her I probably had about 7 clients total who were like completely loyal. Yeah, I had referrals every here and there, but I was just like, I have about 7 clients or whatever. She was like, okay, well, of course, I'll try my best to, help you grow and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, boom. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking about commission. I'm thinking about booth rent. I'm thinking about all this stuff. I'm like, I know I can't keep up with this. And that was just me thinking negatively because like nobody else talked down on what I could do. That was me in my own head. After that, I never really like talked to her for real. Again, so this is still about the time she was getting ready to go to like our school and stuff, have her class. And so I remember her like looking at some of my Instagram stories because she also has a school that she like teach class and stuff like that, like hair classes and stuff. So I remember that page was looking at my Instagram. And so I'm looking like, I know this is her, or she got somebody like looking at my stuff. So then I remember we were having a like a not fashion show, but hair show. We were having a hair show. Well, I was about to say fashion show. We were having a hair show, and us in hair school, we could not participate in it simply because we weren't there to like work on it during the day. By the time it was time for us to have school at night, we was in the books. We weren't working on that. So we wasn't able to participate. So she had reached out and asked if was I in it? And so I was like, no, we couldn't really participate. So she ended up going to the hair show. I remember seeing her there or whatever, and I'm just looking like, dang, that would have been a good opportunity to show like how creative I could have been. But that wasn't the case. So boom, move forward. I ended up not really working with her after that. I'm saying all that to say, I knew she had the life that I wanted to live, but I did not go and pursue it just because of my own fears, honestly. I tried to not beat myself up over that, but it is what it is. We all got something that we should have done probably a long time ago, and we didn't just because of fear and the unknown and this and that and just being in our own heads. So again, she moved from Cali, so I knew I wanted to, once I was in hair school, I knew I wanted to move away from Cleveland. Cleveland, that's my hometown cool beans, everything, but I just never felt, like I belonged in Cleveland. I don't know, like I didn't really like socialize that much. I hated the cold. I just didn't like anything about Cleveland. And eventually, once I started getting older, I didn't like the people. I just didn't like how a lot of people were so like small-minded, and they didn't, like they couldn't, if you told them a vision about something that you had, like it was kind of like they wasn't on board with it. And after a while, after you get that so many times, you're just thinking like, who are these people that I'm really around? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this. I was like, okay, I know I want to leave Cleveland. Boom, whoop-de-whoop. I wanted to do Cali because I'm like, okay, I don't want to move to the South, and I wanted to move somewhere where the weather was decent, you know, and I didn't have to worry about like hurricanes and, you know, storms and all that type of stuff. So I said, why not the West Coast? That would be the perfect spot. So that's the reason I picked the West Coast. Again, I said I wanted to do Cali. And then we had a guy come in named John Mosley. He's like a real famous barber. His Instagram name, I believe, is Popular Nobody, I think it is. So I remember him coming in. One of my classmates was asking him a question. So he had like a class and stuff. And so she was like, how do you feel about us going to, like us wanting to move to California? And so she wasn't asking for me, she was asking for herself. He was like, you know, he was like, I get it. Everybody wants to go to, you know, California with stuff like that, you know, especially hairstylists. It's the same thing as fashion designers wanting to go. This is me speaking. It's like fashion designers want to go to New York and rappers want to go to Atlanta. It's the same thing. So he was just like, I get that's what you want to do, and that's probably what most people do or think to do. He was like, but honestly, he was like, I'm not trying to discourage you at all, and I'm not saying don't go after your dreams or don't ever move to the West Coast. He was like, but right away, so many people think that, and it's so many big fish in Cali. He was like, that you get swallowed up by the big fish. And so I'm just like, he low-key got a point. Like, as soon as he said it, I wasn't like, oh, nah, he don't know what he's talking about. You know, I'm thinking, like, this man knows what he's talking about. So I'm like, I'm going to be the one to listen. So I'm like, okay, yeah, he probably right. He got a point. I'm like, he was like, well, now Vegas, he was like, Vegas would be a good alternative. He was like, because you are still on the West Coast, you're not far from Cali, and it's still the same type of traffic in Vegas. So I'm like, he got a point here. And then also with me having the dream of being a celebrity hairstylist, I'm like, yeah, everybody that goes to Cali, if people on tour, if they in Cali, they come to Vegas. It is what it is, you know? So I'm like, that makes sense. I never really thought about Vegas at all. At that time, I had never been to Vegas. I hadn't even been to California, but it was just, I guess, a cliche thought, you know? Just, oh, hairstylists go to California. And so I'm like, okay. So once he said that, I'm like, okay, I think I could rock with that, right? So I started like looking at some stuff, you know, start looking at prices of like rent and just mentally preparing myself for all of it, you know? Once I really got serious, you know, so then that's when I told like my mom, I told like my sister and stuff like that. So I was telling them like, you know, I want to move to Vegas in 2020. Now, this was back in about 2016, 2017-ish when I had this conversation with them. I knew I graduated in 2018. I said I'm gonna give myself a few years after I graduate, build up my skill once I get out of school, and then I'm out. So I told them that, and they were, I mean, of course they were down with it. You know, my mother didn't want me to like leave, of course, her baby girl. So like I get that, but she also knew what I was moving for, and she knew how I felt about Cleveland and just the whole situation. So she didn't really give me no fuss about it at all, to be honest with you. We had that discussion, and that was my goal for the next couple years. Do as much as I can, be as best as I can, and that's why I always say at the end of all my videos, is always in my description box, my mother always saying, you know, whatever you do, be the best at it. That's literally what she put inside of me and my sister since we were kids. That was pretty much me. I wanted to make sure I knew as much as I could. Eventually, I actually started working with a barber, and he was helping me out as well, like just getting better with that. I didn't do too many sessions with him, but he still gave me like some really good tips or whatever. If you are in the Cleveland area, or even if you're not, if you're just stopping by, his name is Johnny Freshblade. Y'all, he is absolutely amazing, okay? I could not ever talk about doing like being a barber or anything like that, or having classes without giving him some type of shout out. Like, he is so amazing. He actually, y'all, He actually just cut the hair. So y'all know the Millennium Tour going on right now. He cut Pretty Ricky's hair for the Millennium Tour. That's how raw he is. Anyway, I can go on and on, but so yeah, so I did that type of stuff. At one point, I was an assistant for a hairstylist. I was doing that for a hot minute, and then I wanted to move out, and so I wanted to move out of my mom's house. Not in a bad way, I just wanted to, you know, move out. And so I knew that, you know, those places would probably require me to have like pay stubs. And so I wasn't getting a pay stub, I was just getting paid cash. And so, you know, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get like a legit, like regular type of job. So, you know, that's when I actually left that just for that reason. I made that decision, so I left that salon. And then another salon I was in, I met her. I forgot how I met this lady. When I originally met her, you know, the conversation was for me to be her assistant as well. So after her looking at my Instagram, by this point, this was probably like a year after I had graduated, she saw I had, you know, some decent work and stuff. So she was like, you know what, maybe it'll be better if you do commission instead of being my assistant. So I'm looking like, okay, you know, I get it, you know, and I'm thinking, you know, it'll be nice to be at a real salon, get that feel, you know, and all that. She was working at a loft, one of those like suites. So if she wasn't there, I couldn't be there. And so I didn't like the communication that she had particularly. I really just had to keep talking to somebody based on that, just so I can do some work at her, in her suite. You know, I'm just looking like, I'm not about to do all this when I had no problem being in my mom's dining room. Like, I get that's not ideal, but I also didn't have to communicate with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't really like that. And it had came to a point one time, I had a client who really wanted, she only liked being in salons. She didn't like to be, you know, getting her hair done at somebody's house. And I'm not mad at her at all. So once we finally had a date where I could go be at the salon, she was free as well. The lady who owned, or who was renting the suite, she said she could, you know, open the door for me. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then come like that morning up, she's just like, you know, oh, I won't be able to make it. I'm just thinking to myself, I can't do this. And so that was the last time I even worked with that lady, because I'm like, I can't do this. I was already having little problems before that. I'm like, I'm not about to do this to myself nor my clients. I'm not about to do that. So ended up not working with her. So that's a little bit of experience that I had. Other than that, I was pretty much just doing hair just at home. And then eventually I moved out, got my own apartment, and I was doing hair then in my own dining room at that point. Everything was cool. I didn't have any issues. Nobody ever had, you know, any problems with getting their hair done or washed at somebody else's house. It was what it was. Why did I just have a brain fart? So then, moving forward, this was, if y'all watched my one video, this was when I had got fired from my job. This was October of 2019. I got fired from my job. I was a property manager, and they let me go, boom, so that means I was unemployed. And so then January of 2020, I had ran into my cousin who owns a salon. She was like, you know, Miranda, what salon are you working in now? So I'm like, I'm not working in one. So she was like, here, let me get you my card and whatever. So me and her talked. I went and saw the place. And she's still there. She's actually doing very well for herself. And it's called Image Bearer. So go check that out on Google or whatever, so you can like connect with her, and boom. So yeah, so I was just like, you know, I'm like, I'm not in a salon right now. So she was like, let me give you my information. So went to saw the place. I liked it. It's a smaller place, not a bunch of people, all this and that. It wasn't none of that. So I'm like, this is absolutely perfect. So she told me how much, you know, it would be per month. We made it work. So then before you know it, I started having all these clients and stuff, people coming, and I really, you know, enjoyed myself. I was actually there up until, well, I was there January, and then the virus hit. And so then that's when we got closed down in March. And so then we opened back up in May. And so then I actually was there from May to November when it was time for me to move here. So that just lets you know I was there pretty much the whole year. And I really liked it. You know, it wasn't just about, oh, I'm working with my cousin. It was easy to be around, you know, like it wasn't anything that it wasn't. Like, I had my own key, you know, so I was able to be there as early or as late as I wanted to be, and it just worked out. It was always perfect. So I have to say, everything happened for a reason. You meet people for a reason. Well, not meet, but you run into people or whatever. And so it was really meant for me to run into her at that moment, because it was just a coincidence. On the way to where we were, I was in the car with my dad, and I was telling him how, you know, about a job and, you know, wanting to be in a salon again. And then 10 minutes later, I ran into her. So that's really how it happened. So everything was cool and stuff like that. So now that I have gotten to Vegas, you know, I didn't come here, you know, with a job. I didn't have somebody calling me back for a job or anything like that. I actually did not start applying for jobs probably until either the week before I got here. I think it was the week before I got here is when I started applying for jobs. So that kind of like, that just lets you know right there that I knew my vision, I knew my purpose, and I just wanted to make it happen. So I did, drove here, everything was cool. I didn't vlog that part of it, but I did vlog, you know, my pack with me. I vlogged like my apartment tour and stuff like that. So I kept you guys updated on that part, but I didn't vlog, you know, me coming here just because of circumstances. And so I didn't do that, but yeah, so got here, everything was smooth. And so we actually started driving Thursday, November 19th, stopped at 2 hotels, the 19th and the 20th, and then finally brought it on in Saturday the 21st, and that's when I officially moved in. So by the time you guys see this video, it will be the 22nd. But I honestly have to say that I still do not regret moving here to this day. I'm not gonna say, oh, it was all peaches and cream, because it wasn't. I definitely had some times, you know, that I went through, and I explained that in the 6-month update as well, just with, you know, mental health, and, you know, everything just wasn't all, you know, all straight, you know, and I'm not ever gonna make somebody think that it was. So that's why I put that video out, just so people can understand, like, I'm still a regular person, like, I'm still going through regular stuff, even though I'm here by myself. With all of that, I said that then, and I will say that now, and I'm sure I will say that in another year from now. I don't ever regret moving here. I just simply don't. I just know that I did it for me. It was something that I did for me. I wasn't doing it for anybody else. Sometimes in life we do certain things for other people, or what we think other people might accept or might be happy about, but we don't necessarily do it for ourselves, you know? And so I really felt like me moving here was for me. I really needed that time. And that even if I don't stay in Vegas, I still know that I needed that moment that I had, you know, like that will forever be a part of what I am, like who I am right now. You know, like I needed that time by myself. I needed that time to be away, nobody else being in my ear about nothing. You know, I really needed that time to go through what I went through. Like that was a serious time for me, you know, just with that. And, you know, I still have support. I'm not making it seem like, you know, nobody was there for me. I would never ever say that, because I would never want to make anybody upset of, you know, who was there for me. I would never say that, oh, I did XYZ by myself, I'm independent, I'm this. Nah, listen, I'm not even about to put that in the air like that, because I definitely, you know, went through like a short period of a hard time, you know. And so like I had people who had my back, and it's just that simple. Those people will forever mean the most to me, because they understand. They know that's not how I am. They know I don't ever really need for nothing. I'm not a person that asks for nothing like that, you know. So it was just like they understood, and boom, they will forever be taken care of once I'm able to do that. It's just that simple. Anywho, so yeah, so went through that short period of time where it wasn't the greatest, you know. My mindset wasn't, you know, where it needed to be. I was kind of like all over the place. You know, I felt myself trying to like, you know, I knew my purpose. I've always known it, but I was just trying to find my place here in my new city, you know, like, okay, you here, but what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like that. So I just had to kind of like maneuver and like change my way of thinking, change the way I talk to myself, and all of that. It was really just that simple, and just small changes and things like that will really, you know, help you get to that point, you know, because it is a way out of thinking however you think or anything like that. That's why I'm so big. Since then, I've never really been that big on like mental health. And though I didn't have a bad mental health, I just didn't really, it wasn't a thought of mine. So now that I have gotten to that point, I'm just like, it's so important. It is so important to, even if you just, you know, read something, even on Instagram, because social media is not the enemy, okay? Even if you follow, you know, mental health pages and stuff like that, you guys, that will make all the difference, you know? And also just reaching out to people, just speaking about whatever it is that you are going through, you know? For me, that person was my sister. And so I don't know whether she's been through the same thing, whether she wasn't, I don't know. But I knew she was my next person. And so I reached out to her. I reached out to a close friend of mine. And so, you know, I was able to talk to these people, and they're just pretty much telling me, like, this isn't you. Like, this is just a phase. Like, this, whatever it is you're going through and thinking and all that type of stuff, you're not alone, for one. And you're gonna get through this, because you are you, and you do it. You're gonna do it, you know. And sometimes you just need that. You need somebody to tell you that. Though, you know, you can put on an act and, you know, have people think you know that already, but sometimes you just need to hear that. And for me, I needed to hear that. And so that really kind of like got me out of my little funk, and, you know, I was able to give my groove back and stuff like that, and which was amazing. So my mindset was just like so much better after that. And so and then also just with me meeting some amazing people here, I've met some awesome people here, y'all. Awesome people here so far. People who just either live the lives that I want to live, or, you know, things like that, where I know I can reach out if I have any questions about anything. I've met so many people who are not afraid of, you know, sharing their story or sharing, you know, how they did it. I've never been around so many people who are doing what I want to do, y'all. How many times have you really met somebody who is doing what you want to do? Or also, not even just doing, living the life that you want to live, you know, where you can actually reach out to them and they are not like, oh, well, you know, I can't give away the secret. I can't give away how I did it. I can't give away, you know, free info. Like, what? No, I don't like those type of people. I don't want to be around those type of people. And everyone that I've met here is not like that at all. Anybody that I've met who is like that, like, I would be able to reach out to them and I can sit down with them face to face and they can explain the whole thing. You know what I mean? So I don't take that for granted either. And as the days goes on, like, I'm meeting just so many more people who are like that, you know? And it's just amazing to me. Just that alone as well lets me know that I'm in the right place. That just seals the deal. That just seals everything together, because that just doesn't happen where I'm from. You know, that just doesn't happen. You know, you'll see all these people with money, and I'm not saying, I'm never gonna assume anybody's doing anything what they ain't supposed to be doing, but you see all these people with all this money, but you just looking like, okay, well, what exactly do you do? You know, like, what exactly is going on here? You know, and then it gets to a point where you're like, I'm afraid to even ask, because even if I want to make the money that you have or live the life that you have, because of certain things, you're just kind of like, I don't even think I want to be a part of it. And so here, you don't even get that vibe, though. Like, you don't even get like, oh, yeah, you popping and all that. You know what I'm saying? You got this on, you got that on, whoop-de-whoop, good for you. But you just like, you don't even want to get involved, you know? But here it's just like the complete opposite. And I love that. So I love that so much. You know, it's basically, you know, being around winners, you're going to automatically win. It's really that simple. My mindset is just so much different and so much better, to where you wouldn't really know if I had 2,000 in the bank or 200. You just wouldn't know, because my mindset is gonna always be a winner mindset. Like, I've always been like that. I'm even reading more now, reading more books. Y'all, I can't tell you the last time I read a book. Y'all, the last time I read a book, This was during quarantine. Me and my sister had bought Rich Dad Poor Dad. Y'all, I probably got through the first chapter and I said forget it. Even though we had months of being at home, I completed one chapter because that just was not my mindset. That was not my priority. That just wasn't how I was thinking at the time. And I feel like that's because I was around those type of people who thought like that. You know, I've always been the type where I knew I had potential. I know I have, you know, everything it takes to be successful and live the life I want to live and all of that type of stuff. But I just didn't feel myself getting any closer. You know, so I was just like, you know what? I really can't wait to move. You know, I really can't wait to move. And it's amazing because I knew I would find these type of people. It wasn't a shock once I found the people who I wanted to meet. It wasn't a shock at all. I'm like, finally. You know what I mean? Because I knew it was coming. Like, I sound stuffy. Like, I knew it was coming. And so I'm just like, this is my moment. You know what I mean? Yeah, so what? It took a year. Like, I really don't care how long it took, but I'm like, this is finally my moment that I have been knowing that was gonna happen. And so it's been an amazing journey overall. Again, I have zero regrets. I've had the best time. If y'all watched any of my videos throughout the summer, I had the best summer ever. But I honestly said that this next coming year was going to be me focusing on me and internally and just making sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do. So y'all may not see me kick it as much. So, cause like this past, y'all saw me at Dre's with Lil Wayne. I've seen Wiz Khalifa. I've seen Megan Thee Stallion twice. You know, so I've seen some people, which is fun. You know, don't get me wrong, it's fun. It was my first time here. Of course, I had to do a little bit of something, you know. But I'm just like, this next coming year, like so far I only have 2 trips that I want to do. Other than that, I'm really just kind of like focusing on my future because I kind of feel like low-key, I'm gonna share this with y'all, I low-key felt like this past year I kind of lost focus of that for a hot second. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I really felt like I forgot my focus and my purpose. I was too in the moment, too like, oh, what's next? And I really felt like I forgot about some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that goes back to one of those moments where I was just like, what are you doing? It really felt like that until now. I'm like, okay, you had your fun. You know, I'm not mad at you, baby girl. But now it's like, it's time for you to switch some gears because you need to get yourself together. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm 27. And I don't want to make it seem like 30 is just this cap where you got to have everything set by. But at the same time, I know for me, I have this goal now of 30 by 30. So like 30,000 in my savings by 30. So I'm just looking like, okay, well, it's already about to be 2022, which means you're turning 28. That leaves you less time. Then you need to get into like grind mode and stop doing all this playing because you're doing way too much playing. This is me talking to myself. Like, you gotta talk to yourself like this because if you don't, who else is gonna talk to you like that? I mean, it's just really that simple. And so I'm just looking like you need to chill out on what you're doing. Chill out with all the spending on this unnecessary stuff. Yes, it's memories, but you know, you can still have those memories and be in a totally different, you know, different circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never flex for the gram, but I'm just thinking like Instagram saw me kick it a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, I really need to step back and just, you know, take that moment for myself, my focus for my business here, you know what I mean? And just really figure out what it is and how I need to get to the next point of my life to make that 30 by 30 happen. So I'm so proud of myself for even getting to that point because I feel like I just kind of like hit another level of like maturity, you know what I mean? And like adulthood and just like my focus, you know, because some people and a lot of people just kind of like sit around and just like not do anything with their lives, and that's fine. That's what you want to do. But being in my comfort zone is not going to get me the life that I want to live, because obviously being in my comfort zone got me in the life that I'm living right now. So if you're not 100% happy with the life that you live in, then you need to switch some stuff up, and that means you got to step out of your little bubble and go over here and get out of your comfort zone. So whether that means talking to more people or whatever the case, and really trying to network, then that's simply what it is I have to do, and just sacrifice to make that happen. And if I'm not willing to do that, then I have no right to complain about anything that is happening in my life or not happening in my life, because I am the result of what happens in my life. And so it's the same for you. So it's like I have no choice but to make it happen, or don't complain. You can't really say, oh well, you know, I would love to go on a vacation 3 times a year. Well, what are you doing to make that happen? Are you know, eating out every day, or, you know, are you cooking some meals, or don't mind making a ham sandwich? You know what I'm saying? So it's really just, that's really what it just boils down to. I'm not trying to sit here and preach to y'all, but this is when I'm saying all this is me talking to myself. This is all the type of stuff that either was told to me, not directly, but indirectly, you know, or just stuff that I read up on, and I'm just like, wow, that sounds so simple, and I never applied that to my life, but I need to make these necessary steps to get to where I need to be, you know, and live the life that I want to live, because I'm over just average. I'm over just like doing like little basic stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I want something that seems extravagant now in my life to be average. Like, you know, just anything. I can't even really think of anything specific right now, but that's really how I see my life being. And with me being at 27, yes, that's not that old, but it's not that young either when it comes to moving forward and doing what you want to do in life, and just really being grounded and getting yourself to that next level. If you are watching this and you feel how I feel, or if this is giving you some type of inspiration, I really hope it is, because simply that's really how I'm a totally different person. You know what I mean? From when I first got here to now, like I feel like I look different, I sound different, like I am different. I just know that the life that I want to live will have more good days than bad. And when that comes with manifesting, that comes with praying, of course. And that's also a goal of mine, is to find a church. I need to find like a Pentecostal church. I guess I wouldn't mind doing Baptist either, but I do need to. That is a goal of mine in 2022, to get back in church as well. I wish I could pick up my pastor and just bring him here, because y'all, I wish I could, but I can't. So I'm gonna have to, you know, figure something out. I wish they would have still been doing like live videos on Facebook, but they don't right now, so I don't really know why. Still, like, I'm just like, I wish I could do that, but I can't, so I need to find a way to get that part back in my life as well, because that's how I grew up. I grew up in church, and I'm not doing myself no justice by not going. So, boom. And so that's a goal of mine, and just, you know, really just making sure I stay on the right path, and making sure that once I really get myself to a certain point where I'm not still trying to figure it out. I don't want to be 29, 30 still figuring it out. Like, I don't want to do that. And nothing against anybody that is, because success doesn't have to come at 30 years old. But because that's my goal, that's why I keep saying 30. If you are over 30 and you're watching this and you are at that point now, good for you. I am so happy that you have gotten to that point, that you want to make a change for simply you and your family or future family. For me, I don't have any children, so I'm thinking about that as well. I have a timeshare here. I thought about that too, you know, as far as like the traveling and stuff like that, you know, all the perks that come with it. I thought about that too, like being able to travel with my family, you know, and like my husband and my children and stuff like that. I thought about that. So I was already, that just lets you guys know, like, I was still conscious of having a life that I like, the good life that I wanted to live, because I'm thinking about children that I don't even have. I'm thinking about a husband that I probably haven't even met yet. So I'm just thinking a little far in advance, but it still takes way more to it than just, you know, just one little thing. But that is still a step in the right direction. I'm not gonna take that from myself, but there are still other things that you need to do to, you know, simply get to where you want to be. So yeah, so I encourage anybody to just really sit down and think about like the life you want to live, what is it gonna take to get to that point? Like, I know that I love doing hair. I've been wanting to do hair since I was in middle school, and that's no joke. I knew that then. And so that's why when I got to high school, that's when I started actually doing it. And so like probably 9th grade, seriously. So this was what, 2000, when I got to 9th grade, it was 2008. So I've been doing hair for a very long time. And so it's a passion of mine. I absolutely love it. I love being able to talk with so many different people a day and just simply being there for people. You guys, even though we're hairstylists, I say this all the time, even though we're hairstylists and barbers and this and that, we're low-key therapists because we have to hear so many different stories and you find yourself giving advice and all this stuff. And it's just like, our goal, at least mine, is to make people feel great about themselves. I want them to see that they're beautiful, but also feel it as well. So that's when I really, really fell in love with it, because I love when people get done with their hair, and they look in the mirror and they're like, oh my God, it's perfect. I love it. You know, thank you. I love that. I love that, but I know there's a way to get those same results, make people feel great about themselves, than just doing hair. So I still have the goal of, you know, being a celebrity stylist, but retiring from hair is not what I see myself doing. And I noticed that probably about a year ago. I don't know. I don't remember if I was living here yet or if it was right before that, but I just know I don't see myself working in a salon for the next 40 years of my life. I just can't do it. I'm not going to do it, and it's just not gonna happen. I'm like, okay, well, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to retire from being a hairstylist, then okay, so how are you going to live the life that you want to live? And so, you know, you really have to sit down and think about it, like, wait a second, that is a good point. What am I going to be doing? You know, and so once you really figure that out and, you know, make those right steps to that, then it's like everything, it starts to make sense a little bit. You see yourself, you know, moving differently. You see yourself operating a little bit differently because now it's switched up a little bit. Now you're like, for 15 years, I'm just mainly focused on doing hair. But now I'm like, okay, that's not gonna be quite it. So now what? So now you gotta get yourself out of what you thought of since you were in middle school, me. And I'm just like, okay, now you have to figure out what it is that you want to do. How are you going to make yourself, your family, your husband, your kids happy? You got to figure it out, you know. And then once you meet your spouse, then the two of you can, you know, figure that out as a couple and move forward from there, or whatever works best for you and your marriage. But I'm just like, for me now as a single woman, I need to figure this out for myself. So that way, once I get to that point, then I'm already established enough, and hopefully he is too by the time I meet him, that we can put whatever it is that we have gotten at, like, up to that point alone, and put those two together, and then just create this legacy for our family, because that's simply the goal. You know what I mean? what you leaving for your family and with your family, you know, mentally and stuff like that, that's really what is important to me, you guys. Like, I know this is so off topic, but that's always been like a goal of mine, to be a wife and a mother. Like, that is what I dream of. I never really ever lost sight of that. That's really what I want to do. Like, that is just, it just makes me happy to know that someday I could possibly be a mom and a wife. My husband is my children's father. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I dream of, you know? So anyway, child, I don't even want to get into all that, because, child, I can go on and on about the kids that I don't have and the husband that I don't have. But yeah, that's just something that I dream of. So with my, you know, life that I want to live and stuff like that, that's still a part of that, because they're going to be in that life as well. So I have to make sure that everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm working towards will benefit them. And hopefully, if my husband is, you know, praying for me like I'm praying for him, then he is also in the same mindset right now. So that way, by the time we meet up, that this is meet up. By the time we meet up, that we are on the same page in so many different ways, and it just works, and then we just live the life we want to live and just be free. So yeah. I feel like Yeah, I just gave y'all a whole bunch, okay? I don't normally even talk this much, okay? But yeah, I just really wanted to, with this being my first year here and all of that, I was kind of like, well, have I told them the story and just how I think and what I'm thinking about doing and all this? I'm like, I don't even think I even told them that because I'm always doing other little stuff, little vlogs and little cute little stuff that y'all probably don't even care about. But I hope y'all really get something out of this video. I'm gonna need something to drink out of this, y'all. I'm thirsty. Okay, what time is it? I don't even have my watch on me. It's probably, oh my God, it is 12:44 in the morning. And anyway, I'm glad I'm off tomorrow. But, and I don't even want to think like that. Like, I hate thinking like that. Like, oh my goodness, work. You know, like, I'm just so over it. I'm just so over it. And so, it's cool, y'all. It's cool. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to look back on this video a year from now. My life is going to be, if not 100% how I want it to be, it's going to be darn close, okay? So I already know that, and I just know that I see nothing but happiness in my future, nothing but freedom financially in all type of ways. I just see myself just living the life that I want to live with the people who I want to have in my life, you know? Since I've been here, I don't hang around anybody that I simply just don't want to hang around. And that's the beauty of it. You know, sometimes like when you're at home and stuff, you're just like, okay, well, I've known this person since I was 6 years old, and so we're still friends, and you probably low-key don't even like that person no more. But you know what I mean? So it's like, now I feel like I have full control of who I hang around, who I tolerate, who I don't, you know? And so, and it's not based on circumstances, it's simply based on us having the same interests and same, you know, goals and what we want in life. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to now as far as friendships here. Any of my friends that y'all see for real, like, that I've put up, like, we like this because it's like, it's all about mental for me now. You know, like, I don't care about all the extra stuff. Like, can we party, but can we also talk about business? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, that's all I got for y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Let me take this makeup off, and let me see. It still look pretty good too. It still look pretty good, but yeah. So why do I keep clapping? And so anyway, while I'm about to get ready to go, these are all of, wait, these ain't even all the colors. I have two more right here. But this is how they look. So just so you guys can get a good glimpse of it. This is Jordan, by the way. This is the newer one that I just launched. That's Jordan. And so yeah, so these are a mix between lipsticks and matte lipsticks, to be specific, matte lipsticks and lip glosses. And I have to say, I need to do, I want to do a test of how long it lasts, because I really don't have to moisturize my lips for a long time. Like, for example, I put some on before I did this video, and as y'all can see, I've been talking up a storm for 45 minutes straight, and it still don't, like, I don't need to touch it up at all. So that just goes to let you know you good to go with these products. I don't even want to try to like convince you to buy it, but it's just like, I am my brand and I stand for it, and I know it is amazing, and you either gonna buy it or you're not, you know? But I'm not gonna ever stop talking about it. Anywho, y'all, let me go to bed. Let me go to bed. I know I keep saying that. Let me go to bed. And so yeah, so I really hope y'all got something from this video. I didn't even necessarily know exactly where I was gonna go with it, you know. I just kind of went with the flow, and it worked out, so thank God. And so yeah, so I'm just going to end this now. I love y'all. Y'all already know that. I really don't have to say that ever, but y'all already know. I appreciate each and every one of you, especially all of my 1,029 subscribers. Yes. And so, as my mother used to always say, big inspiration of mine, it does not matter what you do in life, always be the best at it, and I will catch y'all on Monday.